Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody who is listening. This is the Nerd Odyssey verse podcast. Obviously, I am not Nico, because he will be the one saying some weird shit. But
Real
today,
weird shit.
yep, this evening, it is myself, Rico, aka King Goya, aka Coco Suave, aka Funko Poppy, aka your mother's best friend. It doesn't matter. Uh, I'm just that guy. To my immediate middle, up above my head, it is Hunter, the better
What
half,
up?
as what some people say, of Nico, the positive to Nico's negativity. And above him is also Glenn, who has a
Above?
great background. Well,
I
my thing is like pop off, so I'm like the bottom of the totem pole. You're the top, so that means you're very important. But if something were to happen to me, we all fall. So
right.
all is
Uh,
on your shoulders right now.
I see. So
Or
it's
more, I
been
guess.
it's been an interesting week because I'm doing the one doing the recording. We're doing Nico Farhat's YouTube channel without Nico Farhat. So hopefully this should spin off into a freer Nico free universe with which we're able to provide content for you, our loyal viewers. Viewers meaning two of you likely because there's very, very many views. I think I saw 20 and most of those are probably my mom. Hi, mom. And
Oh,
so,
Hi, Glenn's
thanks,
mom.
mom.
all right.
What you
So,
wearing?
in terms of starting out the week, Rico, let's start with you, man. Start from the base and start from the bottom, go to the top. I'm not
All
quite
right.
sure.
Started at the
So
bottom, now we're here. It is not that hard.
it's too much pressure for Glenn. He's like,
All right.
he's like, I'm gonna
Ugh.
get some lashes
Is
from
it
Nico.
whoever's in like the pilot seat just can't speak English good? Is that what happens?
That's a big talk coming from Lucky Pierre over here. So,
Yeah, yeah, but I make fun of my brother for it every single week, so I think it really is just whoever hits record, it happens to them.
I guess so. It
It's
has to
stage
be.
fright.
Stage fright. Never heard of it. Anyways, Rico, what you got for this week, bud?
It's been a simple week. Far as life, school's out, so unfortunately for my wife, she's like ready to probably choke some kids. Got to spend some time with my son at their little real quick lunch picnic, so that was really cool. Far as television, I have you guys watched the Acolyte?
Ooh, the Acolyte, I have not. I
It
only
is on.
Nope.
I'll be honest, I only just learned of its existence like a week ago.
Don't feel bad.
That's likely because of the fact that Disney gave Kennedy the boot and is shunning her on a public stage. Just saying,
Oh, that might have something to do with it, yeah.
it might, just might. But anyways, what was your thoughts on it, Rico?
See, first two episodes are out. I think there's a new episode every Tuesday. So I was able to squeeze them in today. Uh, I will put it as short strokes. Just it's fine. It's if you saw the trailer, you kind of get an idea. So unless again, these are all based on the books, the Acolyte. So unless I think is it the showrunner? I think is Leslie Headland. So unless she's gonna pull some okey doke on us, I don't foresee. I think it's gonna be really cookie cutter, kind of dry the way the progression of the story is right now. So they're really hinting on, I guess, the power dynamics for as I forgot what was the theory of twins, like Luke and Leia, they were twins, and supposedly there was a the Force is strong with them.
Nico Hunter, I get it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like fraternal twins separated by years or something. I don't know. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
same litter.
Would make sense because Hunter is like more bulkier. Nico probably was more in the womb a little bit longer, so he's a little bit skinnier.
Wait, I
You know,
thought Hunter was the younger one.
I am, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
that's
So
what
that,
happens. That's what
yeah,
happens.
you had
It's all
more
about
time in the oven. There you
the
go.
womb universe, power dynamics, and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's what they're doing because I know there was a video game before Star Wars where you had two brothers that were twins. Later in the books too, with Han Solo and Leia's kids, they have twins. Despite what Kathleen Kennedy said that they don't exist. So I think that's where they're going for with this one. So I'm hoping I'm hoping by episode 3 something starts off. I mean, there is action in it. They have the actress who played Trinity in it playing one of the Jedi Masters. Um, unless yeah, I don't want to give it too much away, but there's some things in it where it's like I think with her character, unless they do more flashbacks, it's not going to be as well. They got to flesh out the whole plot that they're trying to make it out to be on that part. So
So,
again, don't take my word for it. Watch it.
what book is this based off of? If it's on the extended universe,
It's supposed to be the Acolyte in the High Republic. I think it's the High Republic series. So this is supposed to take place, um, I believe, 100 or 140 years before the events of Phantom Menace. And this is supposed to be Act 1. So I don't know if like season 2 will be Act 2 or Act 3. Basically, if they go by the books, it's supposed to explain what happened to the Jedi, what led to the events where the Jedi were placed basically as a more of as an advisor versus how they were like Jedi Knights. So I'm not too sure if you guys are aware of that.
so does it have any elements that are, I guess, in, integrated from like the Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic MMORPG?
No, none
None.
that I can tell right now. The
Ooh.
only thing I can say that it has elements of is in several of the books. And I again always reference Darth Bane. They do show at least with the Jedi, they have more of a well, kind of like the Knights of the Old Republic. So these are the Jedi and the Galactic Republic. So their role and what they do in the galaxy is more than what you see in like the New Hope, or at least in the Phantom Menace, where they're just only interceding whenever the Senate tells them to do it. These guys are pretty much, hey, we are the Galactic Police. We're going around and doing stuff. One pro of it is that each individual for the Jedi, at least the Jedi Masters, they do have a different sense. Like there's one scene where a guy's meditating and the person that was trying to attack him couldn't attack him at all. The force was around him. There's one where they were fighting and again you see Jedi's actually using the force more than what you see so far, a little bit more than what you probably see in the movies right now. I don't know. I don't know. I felt like they're making it like a who done it because Jedi's are getting hunted down and killed, but they're not doing a great job of kind of concealing who it is. So unless they do a twist with the one of the main characters, I really feel like I don't know. I don't see
You
it
had me at who done it, and then you immediately made me sad with the follow up.
So, are there any other
because okay.
are there any
Like
like Jedi powers that we've never seen before that are being showcased in the show as far as you've seen?
other
Like in
than the meditation force field, you haven't seen. You've seen it. You know pretty much what
wait,
they're
like a
using
battle
right now.
meditation like Bastila used in Knights of the
No,
Old Republic?
like he's meditating, the whole and you don't see it, but when the one assassin is trying to attack him, she can't break through. Like she tries to punch it, she tries to kick it, she tries to do parkour, throw knives. She can't penetrate it at all.
So
Comes in
basically,
with a
what we saw
jackhammer.
in
Yeah, I mean, yeah, take your pick. She's doing all this stuff and can't get to it until she speaks something, and then he opens his eyes and then like I've been waiting for you. So
so it
talk.
was like
She
the
says,
Rogue
"Bitch,"
One,
and then right.
but it was like the Rogue One scene basically where he was like, "I am one with the Force is one with me," and like he just kept walking and nothing was hitting him. Were
Yeah,
they trying to say it's basically the same thing?
little more, or less than that. Yeah, it's just again showing what at that time what Jedi Masters were doing, or at least what the
Hmm.
different powers they had like that. Because again, with the books, and I think with some people fail to realize is that when you see new stuff in the movies, that's the one thing they lack. They don't really mention a lot of things, or they don't go into detail. So in the books, again, there's Jedi Masters that are great, like great fighters with the lightsabers. There's ones that are great healers. There's one in tune to the Force, more than anything else. Even to the point where the showrunner wants to actually, since you mentioned it, she wants to dabble in the Knights of the Old Republic, um, which a lot of people, I don't know, based on this right here, I don't know if I even want to. I would agree for her to even give her the green light on that one, even though she said the focus would be on. I think the name is uh, Kira, the one that she's blind but she's in tune to the Force. the one character, I guess, following her story throughout the Knights of the Old Republic on that one.
So Avatar. I'm joking.
So she's basically the Kenshi of this universe.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with the Knights of the Old Republic, but she's a character that's blind, but she's sensitive to the force around her to the point where she makes a with the main protagonist. I think she was the mentor, or the protagonist was her mentor. Basically has a special relationship, and how it goes from there.
Okay. Yeah, Kenshi from the Mortal Kombat series. He was a guy who lost his eyesight, and he found uh, basically a sword with a spirit in it, and it allows him to not see, but like see
Mhm.
around him, and also is able to use some form of that spiritual ability in order to fight and protect himself and everything else. So it
Yes,
sounds like they're very similar characters.
she's Space Daredevil.
Though she probably
Space
has
Daredevil.
less crime family ties.
Mhm. No, but I mean I mean in the show you do got one guy from I think it's the Squid Games. He plays. I mean to be funny, I even told my wife I said he kind of reminds me of an Asian Qui-Gon, where he has that like kind of like long hair look kind of thing. He's kind of stoic, where he doesn't say much. He is more of emotional in his face.
Okay.
Where he has attachments to stuff. The other supporting actors is like I don't know. I got to get more episodes out, and I mean they got to put more episodes out, and we got to see how they flesh it out. Because I'm not gonna lie, one of the Jedi Knights, the first thing I noticed was his hair, and I was like, dude, that that looks just like the hair from Killmonger, Miles Morales, and the Spider-Man games. Like somebody pointed it out. Like ever since Killmonger had this certain hairstyle, every black character has been drawn, or they had this in movies, and I was like, dude, they weren't lying. Of all the hairstyles you could have had in this show, this is what you have on that one. But
To
like I
be
said,
fair, the like
it's
super
it's
thick
fun.
locks do look legit. So there
A
are
black
worse
space
hairstyles to go
wizard
with.
sheriff. Well, Blazing Saddles can do it, right?
Mhm.
That's great.
Uh,
What else?
so I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that one to the next episode. Movies, none right now. YouTube again. I'm going on my journey on with wrestlers doing interviews. This time was Christian, which I haven't finished yet. But the one thing I say about his interview is I haven't seen that guy wrestle in a while. I know he's with AEW, but that dude is like his tone and everything is serious. Like if you watch Edge's interview with the same interview, I think the guy's name is Chris Van Velvet, I think.
Yeah,
Edge is like
DVD.
happy, go lucky. He's like, yeah, we did this and everything, and I tried this. You could see it. You could see his emotions go up and down. Christian is just straight turtleneck monotone, just serious. Like yes, so we were doing this, and then I thought about this. Well, how can I change this? And I talked to Tony Khan, and I pretty much thought, okay, yeah, I need to make this decision. And then they cut to a promo, whatever he's doing, and it's the same tone. I'm like, is this do kayfabe or is this like still the same thing? Like your dad is dead. I'm like, dude, that's the same tone you have in this interview. I was like, okay, but it's interesting.
So
Um,
I'm assuming that the guy with the monotone is like a heel, and then the other one is whatever. Then
well, they
it's
both
not a
they
heel.
both at one point were babyface and then were heels, but they're both from Canada.
Yeah.
They grew up watching wrestling, did wrestling, and then they went their separate ways, and then they eventually came back to WE. They were tag teams at one point, then they did their solo careers. And so, I think Edge had to retire before Christian went to AEW, but basically it was just them going back together and them doing wrestling right now. Um,
Yeah,
so
and
it's just
Christian was always like you always saw them together, and they kind of look like, so you always kind of thought they were brothers, but they weren't. And Christian just always seemed like the like younger brother in that situation.
yeah,
So it's a weird dichotomy to see now that they're older and like they have like the old like weathered faces and everything else. And
Mhm.
yeah, Edge is just happy go lucky, and Christian's just angry asshole.
Yeah.
He's playing the heel for sure right now. However, he does have the sleeveless turtleneck look going on, and like
Mhm.
he's bringing it back apparently.
Oh my god.
It's just like
The sleep.
what's her face from Deadly Instinct, or yeah.
Mhm. I think
I'm
of
sorry.
Howard from
Is
The
Sharon
Big Bang
Stone?
Theory.
Sharon Stone.
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct, right? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Sorry.
The
like
whole-
Whatever. Anytime I think of like sleeveless turtlenecks, I just immediately think of Sharon Stone. So there you
Yeah.
go.
You said see
It's
this
a different
turtleneck. I
image.
thought about Howard from The Big Bang Theory, where he has just a turtleneck, and then it comes down to here.
Yep.
It's a
That's,
dickie. That's what it's called.
I beg your pardon.
It's called a dickie.
Hey, that is offensive right there.
No, it's called a dickie. That's what
Is it
it's
really called a
called.
dickie?
It's a
That's
dickie.
what,
That is the real
He's
name
not. He's
for it.
not screwing with you. That is the name for it. Yeah.
you're being serious.
Yeah.
Dead
That's
serious.
that's a dickie. There's also ascots. Everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some weird stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for people who can't wear a full fucking shirt,
I'm just like, they looked
hot.
at that
It's
and they
totally
went like,
fine.
they're like,
one more thing to be made fun of, right?
yeah, what could we name this? I got it.
A
Dickie.
dickie. It was probably named after some guy who was like, I'm sick and tired of sweating through my shirts. I think I'm gonna cut this off. What are you gonna call it? Well, of course I'm gonna name it after myself. The Dick. No, you can't call it the Dick. It's got to be something playful. Then the Dickie, I guess.
Oh my god.
So, anyways,
From there, there was another interview with Mark Henry. This one's a little bit different because the one I saw earlier is with Undertaker, so they have a lot of history. So it's more of like a friend, a co-worker talking to him versus when he talked again, same guy who interviewed Edge and Christian, where he's interviewing him as far as a fan, but there's a lot of accolades that I didn't know Mark Henry has done, as far as real life minus wrestling, as far as I forgot what he said. There was this one dumbbell that I guess nobody can lift, and this dude came in there like Black Thor and lifted it above his head, and he's the only one who in the world who could do it. Nobody else has lifted up this dumbbell. Like there's he said something about he started spouting stuff that at first I thought he was making up, like Asian stone. There's this another thing in the Dutch lands where um he's lifted up and everything else like that. So he has like a lot of accolades for the strongman contest and stuff like that. Like to the point where he said nobody could. He said the only way anybody could beat me if I just gave up. He's like because there was nobody close to him when he was doing competitions on
Yeah.
that
He was
part.
a legit
the guy's
strongman.
got brass balls.
Uh,
Damn.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah, but
dude.
it's the Thomas Inch dumbbell, and it weighed 172 pounds.
Okay.
People have figured out how to pick it up over the years, but the real trick is
Mhm.
because you can't get a good grip on it. You have to as you grab it, you have to grab it with your thumb first and wrap your fingers over the thumb so you can't
Mhm.
lose your grip on it. And it hurts like hell because you're basically crushing all of that weight is going onto your thumb. It's not being
Mhm.
distributed amongst the rest of your fingers, so it hurts like hell. But like
Mhm.
that's how people learn that they can actually like pick it up.
So basically, like over the top when Sylvester Stallone moved the head back, and then he was like,
Yeah, kind of similar.
So, what is in this dumbbell? Like, does it have like some sort of near lanthide series metal inside of it? Like, what's in the dumbbell?
I mean, it's just a gigantic dumbbell, is really what it is.
Really? I thought it was like. I mean, I thought it looked normal size because I think I've seen
Uh,
it before.
Mhm.
It's just got mercury in it or something like that.
I have to allow ads on YouTube for a second, so I can like get a picture and send it into general. But I think it's just like a big round dumbbell, like almost like a circle in it. But I don't remember it being obscenely big or small. I have to actually.
Maybe I'm
I
thinking
hate
of a
it when
different dumbbell
YouTube.
then.
Yeah, I hate it when YouTube figures out the ad blocker, and they like make you turn it off. And
"Yeah, they
for
Yeah,
like
screw
2 or 3
those guys
days,
for not giving us a
like
free service.
exactly in 2 or 3 days, they're gonna update this extension anyway. It doesn't make a difference. Stop inconveniencing me every couple weeks by trying to fix your software. I don't appreciate it.
Mhm.
Just I don't want to give you ad revenue. All right, leave me alone.
So, anything else for this week, Rico?
Yeah, the last thing before the other two topics after we can talk about after you guys this week is so Destiny 2, the final shape came out. After an hour and a half of trying to get to hop on the game, I was actually successful. Saw the cutscene, and then I got booted from the game.
Son of a
So
bitch.
like I'm actually watching somebody stream it. There's other
That's fucked
people
up,
like we're
man.
cheering each other on, like, "Hey, I'm in," and then I'm out, and then was able to play the game. But of course, with server problems, like between every mission, if a mission took like 20 or 30 minutes to play, um, I think I spent another 10 to 20 minutes to try to get back to the next mission because it would just boot you back to the orbit and you have to go back and forth. Was able to play again yesterday. Got up to the Witness, who is the main character, the character that we've um, been trying to figure out, trying to stop, who's been after the Traveler, and that person is a dick because I'm trying to fight him, and so this is the funniest crap. Uh, got to the end stage, and the audio was like, "Hey, there goes the statue. Go over there." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm waiting, and out of nowhere, I get booted in the game, but off the stage. And I'm like, "What the hell hit me?" And then it's the wizard. I mean, the wizard, the witness, just like looking at me like this while I'm falling off the map. And all I could do was like shoot a bow at him and just like, I mean, an arrow. And I was like, "You're a dick," and then just died and had to start all over again.
Witness me.
I'm, I'm telling you. So other than server problems, Bungie fixed it out. Was able to get in. I know the raid is happening tomorrow. So again, raid is going to be I guess put in the end. Whoever beats it first will then have lingering effects for throughout the remaining of the game as it comes. Just like when Riven was destroyed, which was a Wisp Dragon. When it was destroyed, it had lingering effects on the Dreaming City and stuff like that. So I was able to play again today with a friend, help him out. That's why I didn't go back to fight the Witness. So hopefully tomorrow, either solo or with him and somebody else, we can go defeat the Witness. But as far as lore wise, it's great. A lot of emotions, a lot of people changing. As far as the characters, changing their tunes. The one thing I would say though, I think we talked about it before. You guys know who Lance Riddick is?
Yeah.
If you watch Fringe, he's the colonel. If you watch The Wire, he's the lieutenant.
Okay.
And he's done a bunch of voices. They cast, I think his name is Keith David. So Keith David, and forgive me if I mess up his name, but he's the voice actor for Green Lantern. He's in Spawn. They hired him to take the role. He's great friends with Lance Riddick, but that's the one thing throughout the
Wasn't Keith David
cutscene.
also like the voice actor that did the intro for Fallout? Like Fallout the original one?
He might have been. I don't
I'm
know
pretty
about that
sure
one.
it was like he was the guy that was like who originally had said like whoa never changes. I think he was.
That probably was him. I would imagine, but I wish Lance Riddick was alive because at least I would love to see him finish the character out for voicing over 10 years. Because there is emotional stuff. I think they brought back Gina Torres. So Gina Torres, if you ever watched the show Suits, she is the one partner that always helps out Harvey. Um, I knew her since Cleopatra 2025. It was a great show.
No, 2025 is next year.
No, it was a year 20. Oh, 25. Cleopatra 25. Check it out. It actually was a show I think in Canada. It was crazy. But anyways, I digress.
Canada,
Mm.
our home and native land.
Get
Home
that
of
shit
maple
out of
syrup
here.
and full beavers. Come for the syrup, stay for the beavers.
Oh my god. If I
Oh
had
yeah,
a Sudbury nickel for every time I heard that.
so the final shape.
I have
Well,
a
I guess the
whole
final
nickel.
shape's here. Now we get to put the end to it, so at least we get to know what's going on. Hopefully, find out who the hell the traveler is and everything. The last thing I saw, just to give you guys a heads up. Did you guys know there's a Terminator anime? It's going to
No.
be releasing in September on Netflix. Timothy Oliphant. He's played in Justified. What else? He's been in. It was Justified. There's another one he was in.
He dated my mom.
That's cool.
I
Dang,
believe
he
it.
could have been your pops. Damn, you
That would have
lucked
been a
out.
lot, but that would have been great.
So he's starting in it. Fallout Season 2 is supposed to be out as fast as humanly possible. Microsoft was rumored before because I remember talking about it. So Halo Combat Evolve is potentially being released on the PS5 along with 4 other games. So now it's more of a
What? Halo being re-released by Microsoft? What? I don't
on the
believe it.
PS5. On the PS5.
Wow.
Just like
Yeah.
with Hi-Fi Rush, and I think it's the one. What was it? the Pirates Thief game. I forgot what it's called. Pirates of the High Seas or something. Are supposed to be coming out on PS5. So some people are mad because they were exclusives to Xbox, but ever since these acquisition deals, they have to make money. So now they're trying to release it on PS5 as well as Switch. I forgot about that. So you guys with Switch can possibly play Halo Combat Evolved.
That'll be fun.
Well, yeah, now this time actually, legitimately.
Yeah, and like it's old enough that I think it's gonna just work out of the box on the Switch, I'll be honest. Like it's something that the console can just barely render and run smooth, but I feel like it can make it happen.
Well, I mean, hell, with the graphics that they had for Super Mario Odyssey, I mean, it's almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
You can count the pixels on Master Chief for the OG Halo Combat Evolved.
The last two
Oh no,
things I
no,
would
there's
just
Dead Space. No, go ahead.
no, you good. I was letting you guys finish. The last two things is go ahead and check out the new Baptista. I'll post it in Discord. He has a new movie coming out with some which is called The Killer's Game. The premise is basically he's a hitman who specializes in retirement parties, gets diagnosed with cancer, puts a contract on himself to get killed, and then the doctor calls back and go, "Hey, somebody switched up your scans with another patient. You're not dying, but you may want to get your eyes checked out." So he goes back to rescinds the contract that's on him, and the person who put the contract on him goes, "No, I'm sending everybody after you now." And so it's like, Van Keesley is in it. Terry Crews is in it. The girl who played Mantis, she has some history with David Bautista's character, and it's all out war coming at him, trying to kill him, and him trying to survive. And then the girl who played in Rebel Moon is his girlfriend, I guess, in the movie. So it looks really good. I'll show you the trailer. Um, and other than that, Summerfest is tomorrow. If you guys don't know.
What's that?
Oh my god. The one thing that the computer guys do not know. It's basically E3, but it's going to be showcasing video games, third party, independent
Oh,
people
okay.
that are showing tomorrow. So it starts tomorrow, and I guess it's a whole week then. But don't feel bad. I
Yeah,
found out today by somebody else too. I was like,
there's
Summerfest.
so many like little summer events that are happening that Steam had like their theme this year for the
Mhm.
Summerfest is a Summerfest of Summerfests, and there's like four different ones or six different ones that I saw that was on the list to include like comfy games made by women. There was one for next gen. I mean, there's just all sorts of crazy crap. So there's a lot going on this week in terms of releases.
Yep.
So yeah, yeah, definitely.
And with all that, I'm off my soapbox. I'm gonna hand it to who
Hunter,
wants it next.
Hunter
Hunter.
has
There
All
we
it.
right.
go.
Go for it,
I will
Hunter.
go
Thanks
next.
thanks for
Let's do
volunteering.
it. Anytime, man. So have you guys watched the film Love Lies Bleeding?
Mm-mm.
No, but it sounds
Uh,
interesting.
it is a film with Kristen Stewart. She uh, gets into a relationship with another woman in like the mid 80s as girls like coming through town. She's trying to make her way to Vegas to be part of a bodybuilding show.
Mm-hmm.
And they fall in love, and because Kristen Stewart works at this gym, she starts offering this girl steroids. And so it's an A24 distributed film. I don't believe it's an A24 film itself. So it has like some like low budget, just like let's survive on the story for a lot of it. So there's not a ton of
Mm-hmm.
action to it, but um like it
But I'm
shows
sure
as this
the
girl is.
emotive performance of Kristen Shaw really carried it through. With
Oh,
her
obviously.
range of emotions that she's able to portray.
She
Yep.
actually had a lot of them. It was weird. I was not
Whoa,
used to
really?
seeing it. Yeah. I
Wow.
expected a whole lot of blank stares with an open mouth, but no,
How
she
much?
did good.
How much shaking? How much shaking was
Ow.
she doing?
My cat just tried to climb up here and scratch the tattoo on my leg. Oh, that was a wonderful feeling. Um, I didn't hear anything you said, I'll be honest.
How much shaking was involved in the movie? How much was she like? Oh my god! Oh no!
Oh,
Was she messing with her hair?
she didn't do that. No, she's past her Bella phase apparently. But
Ah,
it was good. So like as her love interest was, her name was Jackie, was getting like more into the drugs and like letting him take hold of her. Like as her love grew for Kristen Stewart's character, like her body would also grow and she became like a more like imposing character throughout the film. Like, of course, like she was losing her mind and everything else because that's how like steroids and drugs are portrayed in film. Like you
Right.
take them and then you just become the Hulk and you roid rage out, and it's great fun. But like, uh, at one point, uh, she murders another character, and it's like they're trying to cover that up, and then it's just like the cascade of effects afterwards that keep going on, and like her love for Kristen Stewart's character is so big at one point that she grows to be a fucking skyscraper. I'm not even kidding you. It was just a wild film. But yeah, it was really enjoyable. Like, it was fun. It
So
had
does
James
the movie
Franco
end
in
with
it.
like Kristen Stewart dying by death by snoo snoo?
You know, I thought that's where it was gonna go, but no,
I
like
did
once the
too.
woman calmed down, she grew back to normal snize. So yeah, no, they were fine
Size,
after that. Yeah,
normal
snize,
size.
snize, same thing. But yeah, so that was fun. I enjoyed that. I also was going through YouTube Shorts, and I just got a clip of Friday that came through, and I
Mm,
was like, oh, I haven't seen that movie in a good 15, 20 years. So I watched that again this week.
mm,
Still holds up. Still a great film. I miss like the old school Ice Cube, just like campy films, especially because it had that real indie film to it,
mm.
where he just like looks over at the camera and just like, fucking kidding me. Like he gives that face before he interacts with other characters, and it was great. I miss those film days from the '90s. They were so fun. Um, I also picked up a paper at one point, and I was reading through it, and I saw an ad though, too good to be true, and so I had to call on it. It was somebody
True,
who
too
was
good to be
looking.
snoo. What? No.
Yes, too good to be true. And it was somebody looking for an alchemy apprentice. And so I called him up and we started talking details. But unfortunately, they wanted an arm and a leg. So I hung up on him.
uh, I thought you were being serious there for a moment until you slid in with the damn dad joke. You son of a bitch. I was, I
I
was going
wanted
to
to work
say
it in today, see how I could do.
that was perfect. That was fucking perfect. I was wondering if it was. I was about to ask. I was like, oh, is it metaphysical or practical alchemy? And like,
You're
there
welcome.
was a there was a short time in my college career that I was looking for. I was doing some research on alchemy because of a class that I was taking for my chemistry degree that did like it was basically a class on how to do experiments, and they showcased like all the things that we can do currently with like chemistry, like how to titrate, what does titration mean, what does it do, so on and so forth. And then one of the research projects was, hey, what methods do we not use anymore in chemistry? And so I went down a rabbit hole, as I do, with practical alchemy, which is the physical like observation alchemy, not the I'm gonna stir this pot of butter and turn it till it becomes gold, but like
Yeah.
that's nutty though. You bastard.
You're welcome.
What else you
Uh,
got for
I've
realsies
I've
this
also
time?
been I've also been alpha testing a friend's game. He just got a wild hair up his ass about a month or two ago. He's like, I'm gonna create a video game, and so they got it to a point where the back end was working and they had the interface up in Steam and everything else. And so I got on the alpha tester list, and it's pretty interesting. The whole point of the game is that it's supposed to just be incredibly grind heavy. Like you cannot, there are no microtransactions, there's no way to buy anything in the game. It's if you want to improve, if you want your character's gear to go up, you
Mhm.
have to grind for hours and days on end. And so like they have mechanisms built into the game so you can have multiple characters mining these resources that can be part of a shared pool if you want. You can go down like the crafting or the cooking specialty for your characters, or you can go down the like mage or archer
Mhm.
or warrior for like your combat focuses.
So this is
And
like an RPG. Is this like
kind of, yeah. There's not really a story to it yet. He's more just
okay?
working on the rest of it and building the story last. But it's it's
Okay.
it's it's definitely interesting. Even if you're not actively playing, like there's a button you can click, so the character just goes on doing the grind for you, or you can like if you have the game up, you're not in a character, it'll still log that all the characters are mining whatever resources or
So
fighting
it's like
your
an
thing
auto
for you.
clicker then, is that right?
Kind of, yeah. Like it's a lot. It's I really
Yeah.
like it because it's the one thing I really hate about playing like WoW or Diablo for ages is I'm not a teenager anymore. I have like a family and a job and responsibilities. I can't sit there for 12 hours a day just trying to grind for levels and everything else as much as I want to. I love those games, but I just can't do it. And so like with this one, I get in there, I could set everything up, and I can just leave it alone for like 10 hours if I want while I work and hang out with the family members and come back later that night and check to see if I have enough resources or if I've leveled, I can buy new talents or anything like that.
Mhm.
We
It's a
call
lot
it
of fun.
Millennial Quest.
It's kind of what it feels like. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I think some mobile games have that. I want to say it's like League of Legends. I mean, the only time I've seen it in action where basically your characters are just continuing on would be like a glitch you could do with Destiny when they used to have their characters do something and while they're doing something else on the computer, the characters just keeps on like repetitively doing something to get their experience and all. But as far as that
Yeah.
feature, I want to say it's League of Legends. It was one mobile game that was their advertisement where it's like you don't have to when you're not playing a game, your characters are still leveling up on off to the side, or whatever. So no, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I like
It,
that because it gets in, get out.
I mean,
there's
personally, it
one
feels kind of like an I win button. That's the one problem I have with it because I mean, like, if there's things that you can gain by not playing the game, so why am I playing the game? You know what I mean?
Well, there's in order to like complete some quests, you have to actively be participating and playing it. Your character won't automatically go from like one level to the next, and so like if you're over leveled in that area and you don't check it for 2 days, they're still gonna get resources, but just a drastically reduced experience level and things like that. It's like it's an interesting concept. I personally enjoy it. I'm not sure if everyone else would, but once it gets closer to release, I'll be sure to let you guys know more about it.
Absolutely. And I mean, hell, if
I
he
mean,
wants a second alpha tester, I'll be down. I have 2,242 games in my Steam library. I think I know a few things about video games. You
Maybe
know?
one or two. I also reading a couple books. Haven't quite finished them. They're pretty close though, so I guess I'll talk about those next week. Uh, I watched Ludwig's Fast 50 streaming event. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was a speed running charity event. It went on for 50 hours straight from Friday to Sunday, and they just every couple hours brought in a new speedrunner to go over whatever game and speedrun they were doing. And they talked through the audience of what they were doing. They had challenges and races and things like that. It was a ton of fun. I think the pace speedrunning event is going on right now. They were doing Super Mario 64. I think they were doing a 120 star race between like 5 speedrunners this morning. I really enjoy Super Mario 64 speedruns, if you guys can't tell. But then I also like, since I watched a good 15 or so hours of content between the two of those events, I also picked up All Star Mario earlier today because I already had it, and because I love Mario 64, and so I started playing it, and I realized that I had a character that was sitting on 40 stars, and so I couldn't quite get to the third floor of the castle yet, and so I spent my lunch break today because I was just incredibly sore from jujitsu and lifting and everything. I took a bath, and I just sat there with my leg hanging out of the bathtub because I still can't get my tattoo wet, and so I'm just like awkwardly sitting there with my leg out and just playing the Switch, enjoying Mario. I think I got like 14 stars on my lunch break. It was great.
That's awesome. Have you heard of something called Archipelago?
Archipelago? No.
Okay, so yeah, so it's this cross game platform that essentially, when I say cross game, quite literally, there's like this list of games that you can play, and everything inside the game in terms of items is randomized, and so you have to play a game, and then like let's say that you're playing Silent Hill 2 and Zelda Ocarina of Time and like several other games in the
Okay.
series. You set up a session with a group of folks, and you guys can intermittently play each of the games. And once you get an item, let's say for like a stairwell key in Silent Hill 2, will be found in Ocarina of Time, or you might find like the Master Sword in Silent Hill 2, or vice versa. And there's like I think there's like 20 games or something like that. But you set it up individual sessions and just run it and try to beat all the games all at once. And
That
it's
sounds like a nightmare and amazing all at the same time.
right, yeah, This Discord server, Games O'Clock, that I'm associated with, some friends who are friends with my brother. They actually played a lot of 7 Days to Die with them. That's kind of how I got to know them. They introduced it to me this last week, and I thought it was pretty interesting. But I wasn't quite sure if this in any way was related to your other endeavor.
No, I had never heard of it, but I've got the website pulled up now, so I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah,
It
we have to throw
sounds
down, dude.
like a insanely frustrating and great time.
Pokemon is actually one of the games on that list, and I being a Pokemaster as I am, having collected every single Pokemon that is currently been released, and is sitting in my Pokemon home now. I think that might be my little corner in order to contribute.
Did I tell you the story about a guy that I was trying to sell Pokemon Emerald to on Facebook Market? Okay, so before Spider-Man 2 came out, I really wanted a PS5, but I couldn't justify buying a PS5. I mean, I bought like 10 of them and sold them like when they first came out because the profit was insane, and why not? It was really easy. I didn't mind being one of those people. And so I couldn't justify spending money and actually buying and keeping a PS5 because I only wanted it for Spider-Man 2. So I was like, okay, I know what I can do. I can just sell stuff, and then if I'm not spending like budget money, then it doesn't count, and like I don't have to feel bad. My wife's not going to care. Everybody wins. Great. And so I grabbed my N64 with my Evercade cartridge and everything else. A Game Boy Advanced, Pokemon Emerald. Battery still works and everything. I don't have the case for it, but and a bunch of other stuff. All in all,
Why
I
are
had
you
about,
selling these things? These are priceless, you
right?
bastard.
Well, because like if I want to play on the
Oh,
64, I'm
shit.
just going to use an emulator. If I want to play a Pokemon game, I'm 1000% using an emulator because I can play it at 4 times speed and I don't have to wait for the letters to come up individually on the screen and just be there like, "Oh, I'm not 10 anymore. Fucking go faster." And so I was like,
There's a
this will
setting
work.
and
Why not?
options to make the text go faster,
It
right?
still doesn't go fast enough. And so uh, I found some guys who were wanting to like trade if you have anything cool for them. Like, all right, yeah, sure, why not? I'll see what you have for trade. And one of the guys was a retro game shop. This was just his Facebook Market front. I was like, oh, I've got plenty of stuff you're gonna love, and I sent him the list. And he looked on and he goes, bro, none of that is worth anything except maybe Super Mario All Stars. Like, I'd give you $100 for the rest of it combined. Yeah,
That
yeah.
bastard.
Yeah. I was like, you, sir, are an asshole. And so I sent him some pictures of Pokemon Emerald at like the recent sales on eBay. And he's like, no, that's not a thing. Those aren't real sales. Those are just guys selling stuff to their buddy to jack up the price. I wouldn't believe it. I'll give you $100. I was like, no. So I ended up keeping it on the end. And I
Yeah,
just
because what he's going to do is
scrubbed
he's
the
going to
idea.
give you $100 for the stuff. He's going to turn around and sell it for $500 on his storefront.
Easy.
Yeah. He's
He
like,
did
if I
that.
can't make a 400% profit, I'm not going to buy it. Bastard.
Should I do like that pawn shop, a Las Vegas pawn shop, where they bring stuff in? And it's like, yeah, it's worth
Oh yeah.
10,000. I can give you like 30 for it. Like what?
Yep.
Here's what I do for you. Give you 30.
Yeah, well I have to work to make the rest of that profit. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that is my week and my joke checked off the list.
Spectacular. I guess that leaves me, the lofty head sitting atop the pile, or for you on YouTube, on the top left-hand side of the screen. So for this week, I finished Xi Zhenglu's Dark Forest, which is the second book in the Remembrance of Earth series, and it was spectacular. it ended exactly as it should. Like, quite literally, the book could have, that could have been the last book I read in the series. I would have been okay with it. Like, not since Michael End finished the never ending story did I have such a satisfying ending to a book. It was so fucking good. And yeah, I was just thoroughly impressed, and I can't wait to read the next book in the series, Death's End, which I'll be purchasing tonight on Audible, so that I can get started at 7 a.m. in the car on the way to work.
What was the name of the book again?
So the series, it's the Three Body Problem series, but the actual name of the series is it's like Remembrance of Earth or something like that. But Shi Jung Lu, I can pull it up here in a second. I'm scared to touch anything on my desktop because of the fact that I'm running the recording. So, I think if I move my mouse, like, it might show up. So I'm worried about that. But anyways, so yeah, did that. And I'm in the middle of season 2 of The Boys, and it feels like it's starting to drag a little bit. Like, I'm not quite sure if this is supposed to be like the part where they do like a lot of exposition and stuff like that, but it just feels kind of like every episode is them brooding inside of a dark room, lore dumping until such a time as, and at some point in the story or some part during the episode, somebody gets exploded. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. The whole laser my tits scene was fucking hilarious. That was with Liberty. She's like, I can take it, laser my tits, and I'm like, dude, that's kind of scary and kind of hot. So, but
was that the one that was racist or something?
Yeah, she was the one who was like the like super Nazi. Yeah, that was like old enough to be everybody's great grandmother. Like, she just didn't age.
She was effectively the Wonder Woman of this series, but what if Wonder Woman was a Nazi?
I don't know if she's like Wonder Woman. The Wonder Woman would be more like Maeve.
No, that's true, I guess.
Yeah, she's
she's like the power girl.
Yeah, she's well, I mean, she shoots lightning.
Yeah.
So I'll give you Power Girl, but for the boob window. So the so yeah, that's chugging along nicely, and then picked up a couple of new games on Humble Bundle, and introduced my son to Lego 2K, which apparently had gotten like really nasty reviews for like its microtransactions, and I can totally see it. But with the season pass, it's not so bad. But it's basically like they've already made their money, so they don't care about microtransactions anymore. So they're just like, here's a bunch of free, money that you typically pay for, and you can play the game. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, but overall, it's pretty good. 7 Days to Die has been being brought up by me several times. I watched the dev vlog or whatever it is on Twitch, and it was a fucking train wreck. Oh my god, these guys, like, okay, as a guy who does like VTCs and AV and stuff like that, I guess I find it quite simple to be able to, put something on a screen and, not have a weird video feed showing everybody else while you're also casting. But it was just like, it was like watching like 4 grandpas, because there was, in fact, 3 guys, but one of them was showing 2 people at once, trying to work this video screen. And they're like, and I'm like, no wonder this game hasn't been released yet, because of the fact that they can't even run their own damn stream. It's like, fuck. And so, but it was like they were trying to show stuff, and there was some stuff that was snuck out by fans as they were scrolling through screens that they didn't talk about. They're like, no, we can't talk about that. Oh, no, we can't talk about that. And then like Danny Trejo showed up, or at least a character that looked just like him. And it was just, to say the least.
Even with the chest tattoo?
I don't know, dude. He was wearing Raider armor. It was just a complete clusterfuck. So it's they're doing another metagame change with this latest release, Alpha 22, now dubbed 1.0, where you no longer have clothing in there. You have armor sets that you can get. Yeah, so no more piecemeal armor. There's been talk that jars are coming back. I know, because it's like one of those things where like, everybody complained about where's my jars, where's my jars, where's my jars, and I think they finally like, fuck you guys, okay, let's give you your jars back, and they're actually doing their second dev cast right now as we currently podcast, and so I've sacrificed so much for you guys, but no, it's fine. I'll catch up on it later, and I'll have something to talk about next week instead. Uh, but all in all, for me, my week has been terribly busy with work. But the stuff online has I've just been, I don't know, with 7 Days to Die. It makes me feel a little better about what I do, because like there's a lot of pressure on my job, but not as much pressure to those poor bastards. I fully expect one of them to keel over by the time people even think about talking about 7 Days to Die 2, which will release whenever I retire, some 20 years from now, I'm sure. What's that? I cannot hear you, Hunter.
I said right after Half-Life 3.
Yeah, right after Half-Life 3, definitely. Right.
It reminds me of Kingdoms of Heart, as far as the release of that one.
Kingdom Hearts, yeah, they released like Kingdom Hearts 3 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but the spread of how far it goes between each release.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you have to think they have to do a couple of Disney movies in between there to have some content.
Kind of build up the roster.
Yeah, build up the roster, man. You can't be summoning Simba every single time, or have Tarzan come in and save the day. You have to have some new summons, some new princesses, some new Final Fantasy characters, to throw in there. And so
I got 10 more movies.
Right, basically. But yeah, with that, hell, there's still the controversies surrounding Kingdom Hearts 3, surrounding basically that it's still an Epic Games exclusive. As people are saying, oh yeah, it's going to come out a year later on Steam. It's a year later on Steam. Where is it?
How?
And how? It's one of those things. It's like, if it ever shows back up on Steam, like nobody's going to buy it because the hype is gone. Yeah,
for sure.
For sure, and that's probably why it never has been released on anything else but Epic Games. Whether that or Epic is like paying them money to be like, please don't take it somewhere else. We're gonna lose so much money. That's so funny. Yeah, so that was a whole lot without any interruption from you guys. Did you have any comments on anything I said?
7 Days to Die, more like 7 Pods to Die.
I swear, I figured this would end when Nico left, but that's all you get.
I don't get it.
7 podcasts instead of 7 days.
Oh, right.
Oh my god. Oh, Jesus.
I'm not a smart man. That's
no questions.
No,
no questions. No questions for me.
I tried to block my cat from getting up on my legs again. I don't want to.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, what was going on with that? At first, I thought that was like a dog. What the hell? That's a fucking Pokemon, bro.
No, that was a dog, right?
Yeah, that's the panther. The dog was here. He's sleeping on the stairs now. But yeah, they just fight all day. Like, and they enjoy it.
I want to pet it.
He's a great cat, so long as you don't have an open wound on your leg that he can maul as he tries to climb on you.
Yeah, one of those don't make eye contact because, you see it as a challenge.
No, he's not that way, thankfully. He's just a lovable idiot that uses his claws to climb on you. And there's
Of
nothing I
course.
can do to get him to stop.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get for, I guess being built like a cat board, I guess.
Basically. All
Basically.
right, come here.
Was there any other topics that we wanted to cover today, gentlemen?
Ooh, I do have one.
Uh-oh.
It is the Craig Jones Invitational. So for those of you who may not be aware, I have built this sexy body out of years and years of jujitsu. Just finally honed it for my craft, and so has Glenn. And the members of our sport, even the
Barely.
professionals, even the professionals, if they go out and they compete at like world championship level events, ADCC, IBJJF Worlds, anything like that, you get 10,000 for winning ADCC, which is for as far as no gi grappling goes, like it is the highest tier of competition you can have. 1 year is nothing but trials all around the world, where people will compete to be part of like a 16 man or 16 woman bracket for their given weight class. There's one or two super fights that where people are going just to make sure they see these two individuals go at it, and only the winners of these divisions at the second year at the actual tournament itself get $10,000. Everybody else, they'll fly out there, they'll put you up in a hotel room, but that's it. Mind you, this year, the
That's not a tournament.
ADCC
That's a game show, dude. That's
basically,
a this
Mhm.
is like Survivor or Chopped. Like
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, so this year, what they decided to do is they wanted to go all in with the tournament, and they wanted to rent out T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, even though
Mhm.
there's no way they are ever going to fill the seats for T-Mobile Arena for a grappling event. It's never happening. And they went all
Two
out with
naked
marketing
guys
and
going at it,
pyrotechnics.
hardcore. I mean,
Right?
you might get a
Uh,
certain crowd. I'm just saying.
that's true. In Vegas, you definitely would. And they went all out with the cost of production and filming and everything else. They have plenty of sponsors. Spent millions and millions of dollars on this. But again, the fighter pay is $10,000 if you win your division, or if you win the absolute division, you can win $50,000. But that's for literally a single person, right? And so rightfully everyone not competing in this tournament is thinking, well, this is stupid. Like if these are the professionals of the sport and we're trying to get eyeballs on and can get more people to come in to want to do this, then you need to like actually pay the athletes so they can afford to live and compete full time instead of just going to work at 8 to 5 job and training 4 or 5 nights a week, right? It doesn't make sense. No other major profession does this. And so Craig Jones, who he's an Australian man, he owns a gym down in Austin, Texas, called the B Team, uh, or one of the owners anyway. He went and talked to some people, I believe overseas, to get them to invest in what he was initially calling the BDCC, uh, or now it's now known as the Craig Jones Invitational, in which every competitor that goes there, it's being held in Vegas on the same days, Friday and Saturday, as ADCC, and it's in the venue they used last year, which is plenty big enough and plenty nice enough to house this event. Everyone that competes in his tournament is getting $10,001, even for participating, and the winners of each division is getting $1 million apiece. And so the
Wow.
argument that he is trying to make
So,
is,
quick question here for that. I
yeah,
apologize.
no, you're good.
So, is that just going to be the ones that competed in Vegas, or is that going to be like the people who participate in the individual tournaments around the world?
It's just the ones that participate in Vegas, because his thought process is, I want to hold this tournament every year, ideally, as long as he can get the funding. And so, because he's holding it on the same day and in the same city as ADCC, he's inviting all the athletes that qualified for ADCC to come compete in his tournament instead, because they didn't sign any non-compete clauses or anything like that. And the fans that were already going to Vegas to watch these events, well, now they just have to buy a second ticket and they have to go to his event instead if they have to
Hmm.
pay a ticket for that if they want, or they can tune in for free on YouTube and just watch the whole event there.
I'm just going to say this: there's probably going to be a non-compete clause coming soon to these
Oh yeah.
other. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
so hard. Like,
They've been trying to get their competitors to sign it already, but the whole shtick of that he's trying to do is to prove that there is money available to us. We can pay the athletes. You can make this a sport, and you don't have to say that we're not paying you a whole lot, but it's because you're competing for the prestige that will then get you private lessons, will get your instructional sales, can get you to run a gym, whatever it is, and that's where your money's going to come from, not from our little ragtag tournament that we only pay our competitors 10 grand on, let alone the probably $2 or $3 billion they spent renting out T-Mobile Arena for a few days. So I really think it's a fascinating argument. I love that he's doing it because he's an internet troll, and I love it. But also because it's like, does the prestige come from the legacy of this tournament that's been around for 20 plus years and is only just now starting to like gain that more mainstream popularity that like ADCC, where they don't pay you, but it's the legacy and the prestige that's attached to your name? Or does the prestige come from the fact that it's the tournament that is paying its athletes $1 million if you win it, and that's completely unheard of? Like, if you can make six figures doing a super fight, you are like one of the top five greatest athletes in the sport at any
I
given
mean,
time.
hell,
Everybody else makes
even
nothing.
even Michael Jordan only made like $15 million during his basketball career. Like
Yeah.
all his money came afterwards from all this stuff. So like, I mean, even so, like if you can, like, that's that's worthy of like, stripping away like professional athletes. I mean, pardon me, that's on parity with paying like professional athletes that we have in sports nowadays. For you to compete in this one event, train for a year, and uh, you know win $1 million if you're the best. That seems perfectly fair.
Right? That's, that's
Yeah,
that's exactly how I view it as well. There are
yeah.
plenty of other people on the internet who are arguing and shouting about how he's ruining this experience for these athletes, and how they're not going to get to say that they're an ADCC winner or whatnot because they qualified through trials, but now they're not going to get to go through again, or they're not going to let them back in the tournament, or anything else in future years. I'm like, that's asinine if you're going to do that and consider that a good business practice. But also, who cares if I go down the history books as being a winner of one tournament one year, first saying I have $1 million in my bank account? Like, those two don't really add up if we're being honest.
I mean, it's like money talks, bullshit walks. I think honestly, if he does it right and it gets enough play, it's going to be the thing that you know becomes the mainstream,
Yeah,
or
it
even
could be a
worse,
watershed moment.
even worse, the ADCC is going to have to find parity in order to get guys to participate in their tournament.
Hmm.
So yeah, wow, that's nutty. That's absolutely nutty. What do you know about how Naga pays folks, if they pay folks? The North American Grappling
Uh,
Association. Do you know anything
I
about that?
don't believe Naga pays anything. I mean, you do get your like $5 medal if you. I don't know if it's you win your division or if you win the absolute. I believe it's if you win your division. You used to get a sword, and then that became too much of an insurance liability, and so now you just get a belt, and they're really solid belts. Like, they're not cheap in any way. But yeah, I don't believe you get paid anything out of it.
So now, what is this going to do in terms of like the Olympics and stuff like that? So if in the case, like let's say you have a competitor who participates in this invitational,
Hmm.
they are now a paid athlete, and now they may be ineligible for Olympic competitions. Do you think that may shy some folks away?
So I don't think, for one, jujitsu is going to go and become an Olympic sport for the next 10, 15 years, if only for the reason that there is no unified rule set from any major organization to the next. So
Skateboarding is an Olympic sport.
it is, and that's true, but like, you can't get people
Like,
to agree on whether or not you should be allowed to do an ankle lock from one organization to the next, or anything like that. Or is an aoki lock an ankle lock, or is it something that's meant to tear your knee to shreds? Who and when should they be allowed to do that, right? um, there are just wildly different rules from one organization to the next. And so I feel like until that is really solidified, it's never going to be a serious conversation of whether or not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is going to make its way into the Olympics. But also, you can look at like basketball as an example. Those are all pro athletes that they just get to go compete in the Olympics. The only one that I feel like you cannot be considered a professional athlete in your sport and still compete in the Olympics is what is it, boxing, because then you just have pro boxers go in there and just mollywop the amateurs. Because even like your top 100 boxer who has 2 or 3 losses on his record, so he's never going to headline a card and go after like a unified belt and make millions of dollars. They're still night and day better than any amateur that's going to step into that ring with them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Speaking of fighters that I'm looking to mollywop somebody, Rusty Gravedigger Turley fights on the 19th. Super excited about that over in Houston. And I'm not quite sure if I'm able to make it out to the event to support him, but I definitely will be streaming it on Fight Pass to watch it. It's a rage event, so that's going to be super kick ass. I sent y'all the fight card for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
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 that opponent, he has like a weird English mustache that needs to be ripped off.
yeah. And God willing, Rusty's going to do it. Speaking
We
of
believe in him.
ripping off weird looking mustaches, Hunter, what's going on with yours, man? Like,
Okay, so here's the thing. My wife had requested I shave the rest of my face but the mustache, and that was like a week ago, and this request has not changed. I feel like it probably should sooner rather than later because there's not enough here to justify a mustache. But I'm doing my best.
that's what she said.
Proud.
So, so, why did she give the request specifically just for the mustache, though?
Uh, because even though I am Lebanese, I cannot grow really any form of facial hair, and she just has a thing for giant bushy mustaches, apparently, specifically on Middle Eastern looking dudes. And
Middle Eastern
I,
looking dudes, like,
And the guy that says diabetes.
yeah.
well,
And
as
so
a
I can meet part of
fellow
those
quarter
requirements.
Arab guy, I weep for your beard hair.
Yeah, I can make part of the requirements there, but not the facial hair. It's not a thing. I'm doing my best, but it's a very slow
I'm
process, and
fighting
there's
for
not
my
enough
goddamn
minoxidil in the world.
life. Anyways, oh man, so we are rounding out an hour here, guys. Are y'all? Is there anything else y'all wanted to cover? Unlike the coverage on Hunter's Lip.
Oh,
I will say I do have a friend fighting June 26th for Rage in the Cage here in Oklahoma City. So they didn't make it on the
Kick
card, but they were
ass.
pretty close. They're only one away from each other.
That's
So
awesome.
we could have got together and hung out.
Ah, so bad. You know what? Someday, Hunter. Someday. I'm sure that my wife's son John would love to meet you. As whenever I was showing off the food from earlier, the Lebanese food, the poor guy had to pull his jaw off the floor whenever he saw it. It was kind of funny. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. Not going to talk about it because it's kind of awkward. So that's what you get for basically being shirtless. Anyways, hey, you want to give a shout out
real
to
quick,
John?
the only
You
thing
want to
that
give it?
reminds me when you talk about Hunter and his thing, Hunter's in a shirt. Have you ever watched 50 First Dates?
With the Adam Sandler, yeah,
Yeah, with Adam
Drew
Sandler,
Barrymore.
her brother. That that's you.
Why you gotta be mean, man? How dare you?
I don't know
I've been
why.
nothing but
Just
cordial
the
to you
hat and the
tonight.
shirt, just the way he. Who was the dude? Sean Astin or something?
Yeah, it was Sean Astin. Yeah,
That's what his
walking around
name
the
is.
workout when the workout clothes. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember.
Next week, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come down with like a super low cut, so you can see both my man titties flopping out on the side.
No, I mean this is not a revealing shirt. Next time I'm just gonna have it. It's just gonna be like a shoestring, like right over the nipple. That's all you're gonna get. Or I'm gonna come in with like a Borat speedo, maybe like the green one that he wore.
For the sake of not burning that image into my eyes, please don't. God,
I don't
because
quite match
I'm gonna
his
have to
chest hair,
match. I'm gonna
but
have to match that energy. I'm just saying. Um,
now it's a
anyways,
I'm not.
challenge.
I'm
now
not.
it's a
I'm
challenge.
good.
Yeah, Rico over here. What the fuck are you guys doing? Stop
Like,
it.
Okay,
What?
so to give you an example of the energy that I will bring to the table in this type of scenario, um, my friend and I, on a whim, about a week and a half ago or so, we were having lunch and we are talking because I'm a huge Formula One fan. I grew up racing go karts. I've loved it since I was a little kid. Like end of Michael Schumacher's dominance as like Fernando Alonso was coming up like '04, '05 time. That's when I got into it. I've watched it every year since. We started talking. Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes at the end of the year, and he's going to Ferrari because for whatever fucking reason, every driver wants to
That's
say,
fucking
"I
huge,
drive a
bro.
Ferrari."
Yeah,
That's
no,
just,
but
just it's the thing, right? Well, he's an
that's
eight-time
like,
world champion, so like
well,
it's kind
still,
of hard
but
to
I
say no
mean,
to him, right?
right. I mean, it's hard to say no to Ferrari, but to go from Mercedes to Ferrari, that's like, betraying your German roots. Like that's a sin amongst European race fans.
He's a Brit, so it's fine. But
I mean, yeah, I guess,
but the Mercedes has been a total shitbox for the last couple of years, and so now he's moving on to Ferrari, and they're a much better car, and they're looking like they're
a
going to
far
be
better
championship
shitbox.
contenders.
No.
Yeah, either well, they're actually like in title contention now this year after the last few races, so we'll see how it goes. And it looks like next year they're going to be the same thing. And so we were talking, we're like, all right, well, here's the thing. Because I'm a huge Lewis Hamilton fan, have been since he was a rookie, and he loves Charles Leclerc, who's his teammate at Ferrari. So we're like, okay, if I, Hunter, if my driver Lewis Hamilton beats Charles Leclerc next year, then my friend has to get Lewis Hamilton's logo and driver numbers tattooed on his ass. If Charles Leclerc wins and beats out Lewis next year, I have to get Leclerc's numbers and logo tattooed on my ass instead. And we just made this on a whim out of a 2-minute conversation at lunch with other coworkers
What
as they're
happens if
sitting
it's a
there watching
tie?
us like, it won't be a tie for sure. Like they'll figure out the standings based on like the number of races you finished ahead of one another, right? Things like that. So there definitely won't be a tie. But like we had this conversation at a work lunch while our coworkers were just sitting there looking at us like, the fuck, are they serious? Deadly. Absolutely. I've already told my wife she was pissed, but we're good. She's over it now, and she's got like a year and a half to come to the realization that I might have a tattoo on my ass. So
I mean, it's better than Henry Winkler, I guess, as the Fonz. You know,
I thought you meant Henry Winkler on my ass. I was like, where did this come from?
I actually thought you were trying to quote the Water Boy when he had the Roy Orbison tattoo on his ass.
yeah, right.
Well, Mama doesn't
No,
know.
no, it's what? There's a comedian that has Henry Winkler as the Fonz tattooed on his ass. I forget who it was. Jesus, I'm gonna have to do some research to figure that out.
I mean, that's some Burt Kreischer level stupidity, but I'm sure it's not him because it's too obvious.
Oh, I mean, he's tabula rasa. He doesn't have any tattoos, does he?
I don't believe he does. No.
No, no, yeah. I mean, the man's beautiful enough. He doesn't need anything. Uh, but anyways, gentlemen, I think that's enough for this evening.
That's a podcast.
I feel like calling it. Yeah, gentlemen. Wish you keep watching, dear users, or dear viewers, not users. We aren't Kristen Shaw. We wish you all the best and have a pleasant week. And with that, I'm Glenn.
I'm not Glenn.
You bastard.
I'm just here. So
Yeah. So, Glenn, not Glenn, and not here. Wishing you a farewell. Good night.
drink water.
Bye.